You were born into a pre-existing world. Genes, parents, and circumstance produced you as a passive output, the ordinary arrow. But what if the arrival of the child is the actual anchor point that organizes the very concepts of parents and before into a timeline in the first place? Posed like that, this reversed arrow sounds like an unfalsifiable late-night philosophical parlor trick, the kind that evaporates by breakfast. Yet underneath the mysticism, this is a testable hypothesis. 3 entirely separate scientific disciplines have approached this exact problem. Take developmental psychology, cognitive memory science, and quantum physics have all examined this directional assumption, and their data points toward the same unsettling conclusion. The path from creator to created is not a one-way street. Our existence actively organizes our origins, challenging the basic assumptions we hold about reality. For most of the 20th century, developmental psychology ran on a single, unexamined assumption: influence flows strictly in one direction, from parent to child. That changed in 1968. Psychologist Richard Bell re-examined the existing socialization literature and found the data supported a two-way street, where a child's own characteristics shape the parenting they receive. Researchers identified evocative gene-environment correlation. A fussy, difficult infant evokes a vastly different, more frazzled household response than a sunny, easygoing baby. This feedback loop illustrates 1991 twin studies. Researchers tested environmental measures like parental warmth, finding a household's emotional tone is heavily driven by the child evoking specific reactions. Ironically, asking, "How warm are your parents?" quietly measures the child's innate temperament. The parenting you experienced was never supplied to you ready-made. A measurable share of it was actively co-authored by the temperament you brought into the relationship long before you could speak. Setting biology aside, we can ask the same question about the stories we tell. Who actually owns the historical record of your childhood? Decades of cognitive research prove human memory isn't a filed transcript. It's a reconstruction, built anew to fit the rememberer's schema upon every single retrieval. Through the misinformation effect, researchers demonstrated that post-event data, or even a specific verb in a leading question, measurably alters a witnessed memory. This is compounded by the biological barrier of childhood amnesia. The cognitive capacity to hold a continuous first-person narrating self does not even come online until around age 3 or 4. Neurobiology pushes further with memory reconsolidation. Recalling a memory returns it to a physically fluid, rewritable state before stabilizing. Thus, everything before age 4 reaches you only as second-hand testimony, stories assembled after the fact by the observer. The before you that supposedly explains your identity is not a locked historical record. It is a living document covered in your present-day fingerprints, rewritten from wherever you currently stand. To understand what physics actually allows when discussing time and causality, we have to look at the foundational laws of reality. In the mid-20th century, physicist John Wheeler proposed the delayed choice thought experiment, later realized in laboratories through the quantum eraser. This diagram outlines Wheeler's quantum phenomenon. A measurement choice made after a photon passes through still dictates its final pattern. Crucially, no information travels backward in time. Instead, the present measurement fixes what counts as the relevant past only after the full data is sorted. This aligns with ODTOE theory's observer-operator, the mathematical principle that a localized observer is absolutely required to actualize an open configuration into reality. ODTOE's composite spacetime genesis theorem charts an explicit chain. An open field is filtered into a fixed configuration, and only as a consequence of that closure does an ordering of before and after appear. Structurally, the temporal architecture allowing you to say, "My parents came first," is born simultaneously with you as an observer. Time is born, not entered. To be clear, these theories have explicit limits. You did not physically manifest your parents' atoms or their earlier lives. ODTOE's theorem of temporal asymmetry proves this. Whatever lands in the physical past half is permanently conserved, never overwritten, by construction. But 3 separate claims survive. Your temperament co-authored your parenting, your cognitive state rewrites your memories, and your arrival birthed your timeline. Clinical narrative therapy demonstrates the practical application of this. Reauthoring your origin story without altering a single historical fact measurably changes your future behavior. You alone write the sentence, "My parents made me." Realizing you hold that pen is the truest evidence-backed form of authorship you possess.